welcome back to my channel, or if you're new around here, welcome to my channel. My name is Harriet, it's very nice to meet you, and today I have a book haul for you. And I love books. Books are like my favourite thing ever, and I think book hauls are like the best because, I don't know, it's just interesting to see what kind of books people like to buy. And I always watch these videos and think, okay, I'll buy that book and that book and that book, and it ends up being a very vicious circle of me buying too many books and then never having the time to read them. I've been very restrained this year trying to buy books. I thought I hadn't bought any at all this year. I bought some in January, I just forgot about that. And the reason I haven't bought any is because I'm running out of shelf space on my bookshelf, so I'm trying to get through the books that I have first before buying any more. So if you've watched any of my books that I read in a month series that I've got going on this year, then you'll know that I've been trying to read my books at a slower pace, so I'm also reading books that my mum has recommended and given to me to read. So I'm alternating those all the time. So I'm going through my books a lot slower than I would have this year otherwise. But I am now running out of my own books to read. So yeah, I've had books in my Amazon basket for about 2 months that I've wanted to buy, but I've been like, no, you're not going to buy them yet. You're not going to buy them yet. Gonna restrain yourself. But then I kept watching people's videos on here and being like, okay, I need to keep that in mind to buy that at some point. So I would either add it to my basket on Amazon or my wish list, or I'd stalk people on Bookstagram and be like, what are people reading at the moment, what's good, what are people enjoying, and I'd add those to my wish list. And yeah, it ended up being a lot of books there, so I thought, I'm just gonna bite the bullet. I needed to buy something else on Amazon anyway, so I finally bought a lot of books, and I have 8 books to show you today. So we're going to start with just the first book that I wanted to buy this year, and it's an author that I haven't read before, but I have watched the film adaptation of one of her books, which is All This Time. Actually, it's by 2 people, Mickey Daughtry and Rachel Lippincott. They wrote 5 Feet Apart, which is the film that's on that sticker right there. It features Cole Sprouse. I really enjoyed the film. I watched it on the way to Florida one time on a plane, I think. Yeah, I thought if I liked the film that I would like this book, because it's by the same people. I'm just going to read the blurb of all of these to you, just because I've already forgotten now what these books are about, having bought them and had them on my Amazon for a while. So I've already forgotten what they're about, but I know that I just wanted to read them. That's why they've been in my basket for so long. But it says, can you find true love after losing everything? Kyle and Kimberly are the perfect couple. At least that's what Kyle always thought. But when Kimberly breaks up with him on the night of their graduation party, Kyle's entire world is turned upside down, literally. Their car crashes, and when Kyle wakes up, he has a brain injury. Kimberly is dead. No one in his life could possibly understand. Until Marley. Marley is suffering from her own loss, a loss she thinks was her fault. As Kyle and Marley's feelings for each other grow stronger, Kyle can't shake the sense that he's headed for another crashing moment, just as soon he started to put his life back together. And he's right. So reading that sounds quite interesting. You know, the whole, these people are in love, and then this whole world literally comes crashing down on them, and then they meet other people in spite of that and start to grow and recover from the things that happened in their past through these new people. I have a feeling that Marley might be involved in the crash that they were in somehow. I don't know, just from reading that back of that book. I could be wrong, it could be a completely different thing that's gone on in her life, but I think that one sounds like a good love story, and like I said, I enjoyed the film 5 Feet Apart. Maybe I'll read the book at some point, so I thought if I enjoyed that, then I would probably enjoy this. And also, look how beautiful that cover is. I like that a lot. So that's that book. Another book that I wanted to read that I finally bought was The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, which I have read her books before. What have I read that's hers before? Give me a moment, I have her books on my shelf somewhere. What did I read that was hers? Ah, yes, The Night Circus, which I have read already this year, which I loved. Obviously that book's been out a very long time, but it's just, I've taken a while to read it. But yeah, I always like the elements of magic and mystery and that kind of thing that are involved in her books, and this one is along those kind of similar lines where it does involve some kind of mythical thing. So I'll read the back to you. It says, are you lost or are you exploring? When Zachary Rawlins stumbles across a mysterious library book containing details from his own life among its pages, it leads him on a quest unlike any other. Following the clues inside, he is guided to a masquerade party, a dangerous secret club, and finally to a labyrinth filled with stories hidden far beneath the surface of the earth. But when the labyrinth is threatened, Zachary must race through its twisting tunnels and crowded ballrooms searching for the end of his story, which I think sounds really, really exciting and really intense, that you know, he finds this book that involves his life, but he has to try and race to find the end of it. And yeah, it sounds very intense, very mysterious, with the masquerade party and the labyrinth. I'm sure it's going to have lots of twists and turns and mysteries that he has to solve, which I do enjoy in books. I really like that kind of thing in a book. So I'm excited to read this one, and I did really enjoy The Night Circus. So I think because of that I'll enjoy this book as well, because it's the same author. So we'll move on to the third book that I bought, which is another book that I saw people recommend and was like, I need that. So it's this book, which is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. So I've seen a lot of people talk about this book. It's very popular. I'll read the back to you. It says, at a party thrown by her parents, Evelyn Hardcastle will be killed. Again. She's been murdered hundreds of times, and each day Aidan Bishop is too late to save her. The only way to break the cycle is to identify Evelyn's killer, but every time the day begins again, Aidan wakes up in the body of a different guest, and someone is desperately trying to stop him escaping Blackheath. I think that sounds so cool. I like that idea a lot. It kind of reminds me of that film, is it called Murder Mystery? With Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston in it. Yeah, where they're trying to figure out who murdered somebody, and there's lots of different things that could happen, different possibilities that happen. Yeah, I think that sounds very similar to this, where it's like, oh, the same person's getting murdered over and over again, and this person's trying to solve that mystery of how they died, who killed them, but then things keep getting in their way, such as this person wakes up in a different person's body every day. So I feel like they're always constantly trying to learn who they are and what their involvement is in the party, whilst also trying to figure out who the murderer is. So I think that's really exciting. So that's that book. The next book that I have got to read is the book by V.E. Schwab, and it is Visible Life of Addie LaRue, which I have read one of her books before. I'm looking at my bookshelf, it's right here. I can't remember what book it was that I have read of hers already. Ah, A Darker Shade of Magic. Yes. I've only read one of those books though. I do have that book. Again, it's about magic. Surprise, surprise. Can we tell the kind of theme of book I do enjoy reading? Yeah, this one is about a person called Addie LaRue, and it says, in France 1714, a desperate woman makes a desperate deal in the dark, a bargain to live forever but be remembered by no one. So begins the invisible life of Addie LaRue. Shadow muse to artists throughout history, forgotten friend, confidant and lover, slipping away with the morning light, Addie passes through lives desperately only to leave a trace of herself, until the day she walks back into a small bookshop in Manhattan and meets Henry, who remembers her. After 300 years, Addie's life is restarting, but the devil never plays fair. As Henry and Addie's lives start to entwine, they must face the consequences of the decisions they've made and the prices to be paid. The invisible life of Addie LaRue is a dazzling adventure across centuries and continents, across history and art, about a young woman learning how far she will go to leave her mark on the world. I think that's really interesting, the way that she decides that that's what she wants to live her life by. I think that's really sad in some kind of way, where she, you know, makes the decision that in order to live forever she can't be remembered by anyone, which I think is really sad, because, you know, there's so many people's lives that you touch without realising, and for none of them to remember you, and even though they might have a huge impact on you as well, for them to make the deal that they won't remember who you are is kind of sad. But then there's also this guy who does remember her, which I think it kind of reminds me of The Midnight Library, because in that book she obviously is living these different lives and deciding which one she eventually might want to live in after dying, and she's stuck in this kind of purgatory in between life and death. And she does meet somebody else that is also like that she doesn't realise there could be other people like that. So I think that's interesting. I feel like that's the kind of thing that Henry is going to be to her as well, where he's maybe also made that kind of decision and he remembers her from another life many years ago. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of life this person's lived. So that's that book by V.E. Schwab. So we have 4 more books to go through, so I'll go through those now. We have this book, which I decided to get after seeing it recommended by Carrie Hope Fletcher in one of her videos. She said she was reading it, and then as part of one of her vlogs she did a thing where she, because I know a lot of booktubers, they do a read along with me and they just sit there and read, and you're just essentially watching a time lapse of them reading. She did that at one point and she was like crying reading this book, and like she was very overwhelmed with emotions from reading it. So I thought I would give it a go. And it's The House in the Cerulean Sea. Yeah, it says, a magical island, a dangerous task, a burning secret. Linus Baker is a by-the-book caseworker in the department in charge of magical youth. At 40, he lives in a tiny house with a devious cat and his old records for company, but his quiet life is about to change. Linus is summoned by extremely upper management and given a curious and highly classified assignment. Travel to an orphanage on a distant island and determine whether 6 dangerous magical children are so dangerous, in fact, that they are likely to bring about the end of days. When Linus arrives at the strangest of islands, he's greeted by a series of mysterious figures, the greatest mystery of which is Arthur Parnassus, master of the orphanage. As Linus and Arthur grow closer, Linus discovers the master would do anything to keep the children safe, even if it means the world has to burn. Or worse, his secret comes to light. The House in the Cerulean Sea is an enchanting love story, masterfully told about the profound experience of discovering an unlikely family in an unexpected place and realising the family is yours. And doesn't that just sound so epic? Like, magical children who could end the world at some point, and this guy who's in charge of those kids has to try and fight for them and make it so they're protected, and maybe it's because they misunderstood, they're orphans and they're going through something and they have this magic about them that they have to try and figure out. And yeah, I don't know, I think that'll be very interesting. Probably I feel like it could be quite intense, but I just liked the concept. Again, I've realised that a lot of these books do involve some kind of magic, or that kind of thing involves in it, like something mysterious is going on in these books. And yeah, I guess that was the theme of these books this time round in this book haul. So we'll move on to the next one, which I actually found originally in Tesco. I was shopping with my mum, but obviously because I did put myself on a book buying ban for a little while, I was like, I'm just going to take a picture of it and then I'll order it at some point. And it is The Strawberry Thief by Joanne Harris, and it says, a death, a confession and a little magic. Again with the magic. Okay, so I'll read the back to you. Faith, secrets, magic, what will the wind blow in today? Vian, Rocha has settled down. L'Anse-Coin-Sous-Ton, the place that once rejected her, has finally become her home. With Rosette, her youngest child, she runs her chocolate shop in the square, talks to her friend on the river, is part of the community. Even Rayond, the priest, has become a friend. But when old Narcisse the florist dies, leaving a parcel of land to Rosette and a written confession to Reynard, the life of the sleepy village is once more thrown into disarray, and when a mysterious new shop with a strange appeal of its own opens, it heralds a change, a confrontation, a turbulence, even, perhaps, a murder. Doesn't that sound so exciting? It kind of reminds me of a book by Carrie Hope Fletcher, All That She Can See, where this person makes cakes and pies that involve something, like she can feel what these people needs in their life and she bakes it into the cake in the ingredients. I know that's not going to be anything like this, but I feel like that kind of magic is what's involved in it in this chocolate shop. And then this mysterious parcel that gets left to them and lots of different things that come out from it, and yeah, the fact that there's even possibly a murder involved. Very interesting. I'm excited to read that one. 2 books left. Thank you for sticking this far. I know I've bought a lot of books, and you'll probably see me talk about these again at some point in the future if I read them this year. So thanks. Thanks for sticking around so far. We're almost near the end. So the second to last book that I've got to read is In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. This is a love story, but not the love story you're expecting. And it says on the back here, Danny Cohen has held true to her meticulous crafted 5-year plan since she understood the concept. On the day she nails the most important interview of her career and gets engaged to the perfect man, she's well on her way to fulfilling her life goals. But that night Danny falls asleep and dreams of a night 5 years in the future where she's engaged to another man. It was just a dream, she tells herself when she wakes up, but it felt so real. Determined to ignore the odd experience, she files it away in the back of her mind. That is, until 5 years later, when Danny meets the man from her dream. Doesn't that sound so cool? Like, she has this vision and then suddenly it's like 5 years later, she's living it. Like, clearly that's some kind of destiny, and I don't know, I feel like it's a star-crossed lovers kind of thing where like they're destined to be together, but maybe things are keeping them apart. I don't know. That sounds very exciting to me. Yeah, I'm excited to read that one. How many times can I say excited in this video? I probably should have a counter at this point, shouldn't I? That's this book, In 5 Years. We have one more book. Congrats, you've made it to the end. So this last book is a book and that was very popular last year. I'm just gonna slide and get it. And it is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I've seen a lot of people rant and rave about this book and say that it's really good, and I always thought about buying it, but then I was like, maybe I won't, maybe I will, and then I just finally did it. So I'll read the back to you. Four unlikely friends, a shocking murder. Welcome to the Thursday Murder Club. In a peaceful retirement village, four unlikely friends meet up once a week to investigate unsolved murders. But when a brutal killing takes place on their very doorstep, the Thursday Murder Club finds themselves in the middle of their first live case. Elizabeth, Joyce, Abraham and Ron might be pushing 80, but they still have a few tricks up their sleeves. Can our unorthodox but brilliant gang catch the killer before it's too late? I just feel like that sounds so much fun, and I feel like that generation, or that age group at least, aren't really written about in that kind of way, at least not any books that I have read. Like, they're not solving murders or trying to crack some kind of cases, or, you know, have this little gang of people trying to do something like that. I feel like a lot of the time in books that I read, the older people are just older people and they're just waiting for death, but these guys are going on a mystery, they're trying to solve something, and they're having an adventure, and yeah, they're not gonna push that aside just because of their age. Like, I feel like this could be a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm excited to read that one too. Again, with the exciting, I need to stop. This video needs to stop so I can stop saying the word exciting. Okay, that's the last book that I have bought to read, and I am gonna ban myself again from buying any more books at the moment, because I have 8 here as well as multiple books already on my bookshelf to read. So yeah, those are all the books I have bought to read recently. I cannot wait to start them. A lot of them I'm, yeah, probably gonna try and have to stop myself from reading right now, right this second, because I still have other books that I want to try and read first. But yeah, if you have any book recommendations for me, I'm always open to hearing those, because I just love books so much. Leave those below, or on my book videos that I have every month about the ones that I read in the previous month. But for now, those are those books, and I'll say it one more time, I'm excited to read them. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It would mean a lot to me if you did, and I will see you next time in another video. Goodbye.